My dear child, if you will only listen to me in this moment, you will discover a truth no one wishes to face. Gather up what you are clinging to, for the hands of the clock are near their final mark. When darkness fully covers the earth, I will come, and no hand will be able to hold you back from leaving. You believe you still have time to make amends, but each heartbeat is selling away your last moments to the world. Everything you have stored up will crumble to dust, and your soul will stand bare before me, and in that moment you will understand the only thing you were meant to bring is absolute surrender. You have loved the world too much, so much that you dare not let go of what has already decayed. A little reputation, a house, a dear one, you hold on to them as though they could save you from death. But don't you see, the more you cling, the more your soul is chained to the abyss. I have seen the wealthiest cry out like children when the final moment comes, not because they lack money, but because they know they cannot carry anything with them but emptiness. You fear death because you think death is the end. You imagine me as the interrupter, yet I am the gate, the way. Death is not the finish line, but the unveiling, who is real, who is false, who lived a short life but whose soul blossomed, and who lived long but was hollow. I do not come to kill, I come to take you home, but you are not ready, for you have lived only for your body and forgotten your soul. The problem is that you have defined yourself by what the world gives you, and so you let the world take away your worth. When they praise you, you feel alive. When they turn away, you sink into darkness. You have forgotten I do not measure you by degrees, titles, or followers. I measure you by one thing alone, faithfulness in the smallest matters. And my child, those small things you have neglected for so long, I see you in the silence, in the shadows, in the moments you think no one notices, your trembling hands clutching this life as if letting go would erase you. Yet you refuse to acknowledge the truth. All that you hold in your heart, the house, the fame, the old love, the wounds unhealed, all will decay like grass in the field, like clouds dissolving in the morning wind. You cling to live, but in truth you are dying slowly in fear. And you were never created to live in fear. I do not fault you for loving the world. I too once loved this realm enough to give my only son, but that love did not hold back, it gave. It did not bind, it freed. You, however, have turned love into chains. You love people, possessions, positions, yet forget this. When you place anything above me, it will slowly kill you. It will kill your peace, your innocence, the freedom you once had when you were a child, when your heart knew no fear. Do you remember the story of the rich young ruler in the scriptures? He came to me longing for eternal life. He kept the law, he lived uprightly, but when I told him to sell all, give to the poor, and follow me, he turned away. Not because he didn't believe me, but because he trusted his wealth more. He thought he owned it, but in truth it owned him. And you, my child, are walking the same path, choosing gold over eternity. Why do you cling so tightly? Because you fear loss. You fear having nothing left, but you have forgotten what truly belongs to you cannot be taken, and what was never yours will vanish no matter how tightly you hold it. You live weary because you must keep compare and prove yourself worthy of what the world calls success. Yet I only ask one thing, that you know you are, my child, and return to me. So today let me hold you. Lay down your burden, my beloved. Stop striving to grasp. I know you have gone far, but I still wait like the father standing at the gate, watching the distant fields for his lost child to come home, not to punish but to restore. I want to give you back the ring of honor, the robe of identity, and the feast of true life, but first you must let go. For when your hands are full of rubbish, you cannot receive the crown I have prepared for you. Now look again. Of all you own, is there anything that truly gives you peace? Of all the pleasures out there, has there been a night you slept without restlessness? The more you have, the more you lack. The more you guard, the more you fear loss. I did not make you to live like a watchman over treasure that will burn. I made you to live as an heir to a kingdom that can never be destroyed, where moth and rust cannot come near, where I, myself, am your greatest reward. So today, I invite you home. You need nothing in your hands. You need no explanation. Only a sincere heart. Learn to release one thing at a time, like shedding a raincoat after the storm. Learn to say, I do not need this if it does not come from the Father. And as you learn to let go, you will see you are not losing anything at all. You are simply clearing your heart for what is truly precious to enter. When your hands are empty, when your heart is light, I will tell you the next truth, the one you have avoided for so long, death. Not as you think, not as the shadow the world paints. It is not a dead end, but a threshold. And yes, I am the one standing there waiting to take your hand across, but you can only cross when you are free, when you are no longer bound by what is unworthy. My child, I see you each day racing against the clock, chasing goals, chasing the words others say you should live by. I see you breathless for a good job, a bit of savings, someone to love you, a degree, a home, a distant journey. Yet all these, though good, though valuable, are but shadows compared to the greatness I have prepared for you, life that never dies. Yet your whole life you have fixed your eyes on the short milestones, the near finishes, forgetting the one true destination that will make you truly alive. I do not blame you. This world has trained you from childhood to succeed, to hold something in your hand, to reach somewhere concrete, or else you are a failure. But have you ever asked, what then when you arrive? Many reach the end of life still lost, because they have spent their days climbing a ladder, leaning against the wrong wall. You were not born to wander under the dim lights of this world. You were born to live in eternal light where treasures never fade. I remember a woman named Martha. When her sister Mary sat at my feet to listen to the words of life, Martha busied herself serving. She did a good thing but missed the best thing. And when she complained to me, I gently told her, Mary has chosen what is better and it will not be taken from her. Do you see? Even good things, if not centered rightly, can lead you astray. You must pause, sit down and ask, where is my soul running? I do not want you to abandon your dreams. I want you to reset your compass. Do not only dream of what will decay. Dream of what you can carry beyond death. Dream of kindness that never grows old, of faith that cannot be shaken, of wisdom from above, of souls you can touch, love, forgive, and lead back to me. These, my child, are the true gold, the treasure without rust, the goal that will never disappoint, and I know why you no longer dare to dream this way. You have been disappointed. You once believed in something good, but it crumbled. You once loved, trusted, tried, and were betrayed. So now you live just enough, no distant hopes, no deep thoughts, holding only to what seems certain before you. But I did not make you to shrink back. I made you to soar. And your wings will only spread when you know you do not live for today alone, you live for eternity. Do you remember what I once told you? Whoever tries to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will save it. I am not teaching you to live recklessly. I am teaching you to live with true purpose. For the day will come when every task, every achievement, every house and car, every picture and certificate on the wall will be tested by fire. Only what belongs to the kingdom will remain. And do you belong to that kingdom, my child? Or are you merely building a small, fragile tent, while I have prepared for you a city with unshakable foundations? Do not live short-sightedly anymore. Do not live only for what will wither away. Each morning when you awaken, ask me, Father, what would you have me do today, so that my soul may grow? Dare to refuse the quick but empty paths. Dare to slow down and live deeply. Dare to believe in what your eyes have not yet seen, for blessed are those who have not seen yet believe. I am preparing a place for you. But are you preparing your heart for what is eternal? And when you begin to see it, the light of true life, you will no longer see death as something to fear. It will no longer be an ending, but a crossing. Then we will speak of it, my beloved, not to plant fear, but to restore the hope you lost long ago. My precious one, I know you are weary. Weary from keeping up with others, from pleasing the world, from racing to meet the standards it calls success. I see you bow your head whenever you fall short of some expectation, a salary, a title, a word of praise. You hurt not because you have done wrong, but because you think I'm not good enough. But child, who set that standard for you? Who told you that only when you are accomplished, prominent, and applauded will you be worthy of love? The world is a marketplace. It sells your worth for numbers, for letters, for likes. If you are not watchful, you will become a commodity, a soul priced by fleeting things. I grieve when I see you standing in the crowd, straining to be acknowledged, while in the secret place where I am waiting you never come. The world teaches you how to score points, but I teach you how to be faithful. With me, a quiet prayer in the hidden place holds more weight than 10,000 speeches on a stage. There is a story in the scriptures of a rich man and a poor man named Lazarus. The rich man lived in luxury, feasting and being honored. Lazarus, poor and hungry, lay outside the gate covered in sores. But when both died, their positions were reversed. The rich man was in torment, while Lazarus was carried into Abraham's embrace. I tell you this not to make you despise wealth, but to remind you not everyone celebrated on earth will be welcomed in heaven. And not everyone who suffers quietly on earth is forgotten by me. You must understand that your true worth does not come from what you do, but from the one to whom you belong. When you are in me, even the smallest act carries eternal weight. When you step away from me, even if you build an entire kingdom, it will collapse. I do not need you to be remarkable. I need you to be faithful. Faithful when no one is watching. Faithful in failure. Faithful when everything is against you. For I am the one who sees in the secret place, and the reward I have for you, no one can take it away. My child, it is time to pause and examine yourself. Look into the mirror, not the world's mirror, but the mirror of my word. You do not need more certificates, more numbers, or to have your name recorded anywhere. What I ask you is simply, do you love me? And if your answer is yes, then even if the world calls you a failure, I still call you faithful. My child, my victor. Do you know this? My only son, Jesus, when he lived on this earth, had nothing to boast of. No money, no status, no place to lay his head. He was despised, opposed, and crucified as a criminal, yet he achieved the greatest victory in human history. Why? Because he was faithful, faithful unto death. You see, true victory is not in being applauded, but in keeping the faith even through the fire. So today I ask you again gently, by what are you measuring yourself? If by my gaze, you need prove nothing more. But if by the standards of the world, you will never feel enough. You will keep running, exhausting yourself, wearing out, and in the end still feel empty. Return to the simple things: faithfulness, humility, endurance. These are pure gold in my eyes. These are what endure through all ages. And once you understand this, you will no longer condemn yourself for the things not yet done, not yet finished, not yet achieved as the world expects. You will see all things in a different light, the light of eternity, the light of true love. Then we will approach the next matter, one under which even the strongest have crumbled the regret and torment over what is past. My child, I know there are nights you lie awake unable to sleep, not because someone hurt you, but because you are tormenting yourself, the things you should have done but didn't, the words you should have spoken but stayed silent, the opportunities that slipped away, the people who left, the mistakes you keep replaying like a tattered book. I hear the sigh in your heart even when you say nothing, and you think I am angry, but no, my child, I hurt with you. Yes, there are mistakes that have cost you dearly. There are consequences that cannot be undone. But what is draining you is not the past itself, it is that you carry it on your shoulders every day. You live as though you must redeem everything you lost, but you forget that there is one who has already borne it all for you. Not so you can shrug off responsibility, but so you can begin again with a heart unbound. Do you remember Peter? He swore to follow me unto death, yet in a single night he denied me 3 times. When the rooster crowed, he wept bitterly and fled, his heart broken. But child, I did not choose him because he was perfect. I chose him because he could repent, and because I knew behind his regret was a genuine heart. Later he became the rock on which the first church was built. If I can restore one who denied me, I can restore you no matter how great your fault. I need you to understand this: self-condemnation cannot change the past, but repentance can change the future. Repentance is not prolonged guilt, but a change in direction, turning your face toward the light. I do not keep a record of wrongs, I keep the book of life, and your name is still there, still not crossed out. No matter how many times you've failed to keep your word, I still long to hear you say one thing: Father, I want to come back. That is all. Leave the rest to me. If you keep living in self-reproach, you will be blind to what I am making new. When your eyes are fixed only on what is behind you, cannot see the door I am opening before you. You may think it's too late, but remember, I am the one who raises the dead. I do not need time. I need a willing heart. As long as you breathe, it is not too late. As long as you feel pain, there is still healing. Regret can be the starting point if you place it in my hands. So today I ask you one thing: forgive yourself. Forgive the old, flawed, fragile version of you, the one I have long seen clearly, yet still chosen to love. When you dare to forgive yourself, you will see that I have forgiven you long ago. That wound I do not deny. But I will not let it be the ending. I want to make it a scar of honor, a mark of a warrior who fell but rose again by grace. And when you rise, you will hear what I have longed to tell you, something you have forgotten because you've been too busy fixing yourself, mending mistakes, starting over. You belong to me. You are not an orphan. You are not adrift. You have an identity. For the greatest danger is not that you fail, it is that you forget who you are after you have failed. Oh, my child, there are moments when I look at you and my heart aches. Not because you have failed, not because you have sinned, but because you have forgotten who you are. I see you walking through this life as though nameless, trying to become someone, trying to find a place, trying to prove your worth, when all you need is to remember one truth. You are my child, not after you succeed, not when you are good enough, but from the moment you were formed in your mother's womb, I called you mine, yet you have lived as though you have no father. You have listened too much to the voices out there, the ones telling you that you must be strong, beautiful, talented, pleasing to everyone, to be accepted. And step by step, you have lost the true voice within. My child, you are loved even when you have nothing. You are lost not because you lack a path, but because you do not know where you came from and to whom you belong. When you forget this identity, you will be swayed by anything, believe anyone, and be shattered because there is nothing solid to hold on to. Do you remember the prodigal son? He went far away, lived recklessly, squandered his inheritance. When he decided to return, he did not dare to call himself a son anymore. He only hoped to be a servant. But child, what made the father run to meet him was not that the son had fixed his life, it was that he was still his son. Dirty, failed, ruined his identity, never changed in his father's eyes. And I see you the same way. No matter where you have gone or what you have done, I look at you with the same gaze. My child was dead and is alive again, was lost and is found. I see your fear, fear of being abandoned, fear of being unwanted, fear that one day everything will collapse. But that is the fear of one without a home. You have a home, a father, a place you belong, but you do not return. You choose to remain outside, wrapped in the cloak of self-reliance and pride, while inside you is a child crying, longing to be called beloved. I have never stopped calling your name. It's just that the world's noise is too loud and your heart is too busy to hear. If you can still hear this voice, know that the door to home is still open. I do not need you to walk in looking perfect. I need you to return with a true heart. For only when you reclaim your identity that you are my child can everything else begin to heal. No longer living out of fear, no longer striving to be loved, but living from love, from a place already established before eternity. You do not belong to your past. You do not belong to the labels others have placed on you. You do not belong to your failures nor even your successes. You belong to me, and that will never change. If you hold on to this truth, it will shatter every lie you have believed. You are not good enough. You are rejected. You are unworthy. Those words are not from me. My voice has always said, you are mine, and I love you with an everlasting love. So today, if you have come to the end of your road, if you have tried everything to become someone and still feel empty, stop, come back. Let me call you beloved once more. For in the end, my child, it is not what you do that defines who you are. It is the one who made you. and I, the one, have never changed my mind about you. My beloved child, listen to me in this moment of stillness, when your heart has ceased struggling and your eyes no longer search elsewhere for something to cling to. You think all has ended, that the call you hear is the toll of death, the sound of parting, the dimming of the final light at the end of the journey. But no, my child. What you see is only the fragile shell of a door now opening. Beyond it lies eternity, your true home, the place I have prepared for you before you were even born. What you call loss is in truth a beginning. What you see as death is the very threshold into life that never fades. You have never seen the whole picture, only fragments. But I am the one weaving your story from those tangled threads. There are days you felt lost, falling endlessly without an anchor, yet I was still writing. There are seasons you thought forgotten, but they were the very foundation upon which I would display a greater glory. Your eyes have only glimpsed dim shadows in a clouded mirror, but I have set the day when you will see my face without a veil. Your ears, weary from the noise of this world, will one day hear me call your name, no stranger's voice, but one so tender and familiar that your soul will melt with love. Do not be afraid anymore. I see how your heart tightens at the thought of parting, of leaving, of letting go. But my child, nothing you release today can compare to what awaits you. There is no one you love that I do not know, nothing you cherish that I cannot restore in an even better form. I take nothing from you to punish you, but to set you free. I end nothing to rob you, but to begin something that will last forever. What the world calls death, I call coming home. You have walked through so much, haven't you? Weary days marked by broken dreams, scars in your soul unseen by others. You have tried to live well, to be kind, to love, to forgive, even when it doubled your pain. There were moments you collapsed in silence, thinking no one understood. But I was there every time. I was never far. I did not merely watch, I held you in, my presence though you could not feel it. You were never alone, even in the deepest pit of your own heart. You thought I demanded much, great faith, perfect love, a spotless life. But no, all I desire is that you belong to me. Even if you are unfinished in progress, tangled in contradictions, I still call you mine. What I see in you is not what you have yet to accomplish, but a tender heart still longing for light amid thick darkness. That is enough. Enough for me to draw near. Enough for me to stay. Enough for me to lead you through the door into true life. So if now I come to take you, my child, do not fear. Do not resist or try to delay. This is not nightfall, it is the dawn. Not separation, but reunion. Not an ending, but the first chapter of an eternal story. You have lived in this world as a stranger, a pilgrim, and now I invite you home to a place without tears, without farewells, without fear. A place where every sorrow you have known will be wiped away by my own hand. You are enough. You need not strive anymore. The time you thought wasted, I have turned into nourishment for the seeds of faith. The failures you once hid in shame, I have made the soil for the deepest humility. The prayers you thought went unheard have reached me as a sweet fragrance. You have not lived in vain. You have not walked aimlessly. Every moment you believed in the good, however small, has been etched into eternity. I have never needed you to be perfect, not once. The only thing I have ever wanted is for your heart to keep turning toward me, even when it is broken. You have never left me. Though you may have forgotten, I have never forgotten you. I am not merely your destination. I am the one who has walked each step beside you. Every tear you shed, every joy you felt, every moment of doubt, every time you gave up and tried again, I was there. And now, as I open the final door, let me lead you in. Do you know there is a wedding feast prepared? The table is set. Your seat cannot be taken by another. A spotless white robe awaits, and a crown of glory has been fashioned for your head, not because you earned it as the world measures worth, but because you were chosen to love and to be loved to the very end. When you enter, all the angels will rejoice. When your name is announced, it will not mark an ending, but a beginning without end. So let go, my child. Let go of everything you think you must still hold. Release your fears and even the thought that you are not good enough. You have lived enough. You have fought enough. You have loved enough. Now is the time to rest in my embrace, to let all doubts dissolve like mist under the sun of life. I am not a stranger stepping out of the shadows to speak a few words and leave. Number, I am your father. I am your origin, your beginning, the place you belonged before you even knew your name. I am the first breath in your lungs, the first tear from eyes yet untouched by life's pain. I am the shelter that once covered you, the home you dreamed of when the world grew too cold. You have wandered far, I know, and with each step away from me, I still watched, not to punish, not to control, but to wait until you grew weary, until your hands were empty. Then you would lift your eyes and see my gaze had never turned away. You cannot run so far that I cannot reach you. You cannot be so broken that I cannot heal you. I see your body wearing down. Every wound, every hidden cut, I see it all. I was there when you writhed in loneliness, when you sat on the floor wondering why you even existed. I gathered the cries without words, the midnight sighs, the times you pretended to be fine for the world's eyes. I never left. Even when you did not call my name, I sat close beside your heart, waiting for you to turn. You thought you had to be strong. You thought that if you fell, no one would catch you. But you forgot you have a father unlike any you have ever known. One who does not compare, does not demand, is never disappointed in your weakness. I do not need your competence. I only need you to return. In my arms there is no judgment, only healing. Just lie still, and I will begin to restore every broken piece within you, gently, piece by piece, like an artist repairing a torn masterpiece. You have lived years in hiding in fear, in the haunting belief that you were not enough, abandoned, unwanted. But my child, I chose you before you ever chose me. You are not an extra in this world. You are the one I love, the child who bears my image. And though you have stained yourself with many mistakes, nothing can erase the truth that you bear the likeness of your father. You think you are beyond repair, that you cannot return, cannot start again, cannot reclaim what was lost. But I am not bound by time. What you thought gone forever, I can call back to life. What you have lost, I can restore, not in the way you imagined, but in a way that will move you to tears, in wonder. For what I have for you is beyond anything your mind has conceived. You have grown used to living within borders, the limits of time, of reason, of fear. You have dwelt so long in the iron cage of the past and of expectations that you have forgotten you can fly. But in me, no chain can hold you anymore. In me, you are free to be yourself, not a version trimmed to please others, but fully alive, breathing, dancing, weeping loudly and laughing freely, daring to dream dreams no one has dreamed before. My presence is unlike anything you have ever known. It is not loud or frantic, but deeper than the ocean, steadier than the mountains, gentler than the evening breeze. It is the place where you are healed, not by medicine, but by unconditional love. Where every burden falls from your shoulders, where your heart once torn is mended with my own life, you will be whole, not just outwardly, but in the deepest place of your soul. Shattered memories will no longer cut you in the night. The voices of blame, criticism, and scorn you have heard since childhood, I will silence them. And in their place, there will be only one voice echoing in your spirit. You are my beloved child. My heart rejoices over you. You will dance again, not because pain has vanished, but because joy has risen above it. You will laugh not because everything is perfect, but because you know you are no longer alone. I am your father. I am here. And nothing, no failure, no sin, no death, no darkness can separate you from my love. Do not fear the unknown. Do not fear stepping into the unfamiliar, where the things you once used to define yourself are no more. Take my hand. I will lead you through dry lands, through deserts, through the night, until you stand in green pastures beside streams of living water, where your soul is revived piece by piece. For you were not made to hide. You were born to live brilliantly, not by the world's standard, but by the eternal purpose of the one who made you. I did not create you to live weary, closed, afraid, but to live as a child of the King, brave, free, and overflowing with love. So today, let go. Let go of the old things. Let go of the distorted images of yourself. Let go of the poisonous words that once killed your innocence. Let go even of unnecessary striving, for true life does not come from earning love, but from daring to believe you are already loved. Come, do not wait until you are ready. Do not prepare anything, just come. Even if it is only a whispering breath, a lifted gaze, a silent word in your heart. Father, here I am, and I will embrace you. No rebuke, no anger. Only the embrace of the one who has waited for you your whole life. My beloved child, sit with me for a while. No more rushing, no more bracing yourself to endure. You have walked long enough, been weary long enough. Your whole life you have wrestled in the fog, trying to control, arrange, and gather the scattered fragments of your life into your hands. But never once have you truly stopped to see. I have always been there beside you, not as a silent observer, but as a father holding out his hand, ready to welcome you from your first breath to your last. And now, when darkness no longer terrifies your heart, I want you to hear this, not with your ears, but with your spirit. You have never been forgotten, not for a second, not for a breath, not for a dream. The nights you cried unseen, the times you screamed inside while smiling outside the wounds you dared not share, I have seen them all. I have kept record of them all. But I have not come to condemn, I have come to heal. You thought I would only accept you when you were holy enough, clean enough, worthy enough. But my child, it is precisely because you are not enough that I came. It is because you could not save yourself that I stepped into the darkness to open the door and lead you out. I did not wait for you to change to love you. I loved you so you could change. And now, standing on the threshold between the temporary and the eternal, I invite you to lay it all down, not from despair, but because you finally understand nothing in this world can hold you anymore. You will enter a peace you have never touched in all your life, a peace not born of everything being in order, but of my very presence. Their fear will lose its power. Harsh words, labels, and judgments placed upon you will vanish like morning mist in the sun. You will no longer be defined by what you have done or failed to do, by right or wrong. You will no longer be the one who failed, who was abandoned, who made mistakes. You will simply be my child, whole loved and fully accepted. The questions that once kept you awake, the reasons you could never fathom, the prayers you thought unanswered, all will be illuminated in an instant. Not by knowledge, but by the glory of my presence. You will know I never neglected you, never turned away. Everything has had its place in the great design that you can only comprehend. When you look back from beyond the veil of time, you will see every tear, every racing heartbeat, every sigh has been kept in my golden vessel. And then you will draw your last breath in this world, not in loneliness, not in fear. I will be there. I will not let you go alone. My hand will hold yours like a father guiding his child through the doorway home. You will not step into emptiness, but into light. A space not cold and silent, but bursting with life. Life so pure that everything on earth will fade in comparison. You will see the faces you have loved. Those you thought lost will shine in a way you have never known before. They will smile, run to you, call your name in a sound beyond language, a sacred connection that transcends all boundaries. You will hear laughter ripple like gentle waves, see beauty that makes your heart tremble with joy unknown before. And the pains you once carried will fade, not because they are forgotten, but because they are redeemed. They will no longer cry out in your heart, but rest quietly as a finished chapter in a book completed by love. Heaven will no longer be a distant concept. It will be a reality more vivid than anything you have ever known. Every sense of yours will be restored, not in an earthly way. You will see with the eyes of the soul, hear through the frequency of grace, touch the invisible, and taste the indescribable. And above all, you will see me. Not through symbols, not through metaphors, but me, the one who loved you before you were even called by name. You will be immersed in my light without any trace of shame. No more hiding, no more guilt. Every mask will fall away, not because it is ripped off, but because it is no longer needed. In that place, you will be fully yourself, the whole pure, spotless version. No more straining, no more fear of failure. No more striving to be accepted, because at last you have come home. And do you know the most wondrous thing? All of this is not for anyone else, it is for you. Not because you deserve it, but because I have chosen you. Not because you are great, but because my love is unconditional. No matter how far you have run, no matter what you have hidden, no matter where you have fallen, you are still the one I have been waiting for. You are still the one I call by name engrave on the palm of my hand. And remember, in every movement of the universe, you no longer need to be afraid. Not afraid of death, not afraid of being left behind, not afraid of not being enough. For I am holding you, and I will not let go. When this world fades behind you, and the light of eternity opens before you, you will cling to nothing, for you have found everything. Not achievement, not praise, not fame, but the truth that you are loved forever. So if I call you now, it is not an ending, it is a completion. Not to take away, but to give, not to close, but to open, a new life, a beginning that will never end. A journey with no more darkness, a love with no more conditions. You will be free. Not the kind of freedom the world teaches you, the kind that lets you do whatever you want, live recklessly, and think you are in control. But true freedom, freedom from fear, from regret, from the exhaustion of constantly proving your worth through the eyes of others. When you let go, you do not lose, you are set free. From the invisible chains you once called expectations, accomplishments, and responsibilities. You will step out of the prison you built with your own hands during the years you thought you were maturing, but were in fact only moving further from yourself. When I come, I do not come as a judge with an iron sentence. I come as a father with an outstretched hand, not holding a rod of punishment, but bearing scars in my hands, the proof that I have suffered in your place. I come not to take you away from life, but to bring you into true life. Not to lead you through a dark doorway, but through a veil of mist into the clear light beyond. You will no longer fear uncertainty, because I, the certain one, am holding you. My beloved, do you know this? Every pain you have endured, every breaking you thought you could never rise from, every time you buried your face in the pillow to cry silently because no one understood, none of it was meaningless. I have seen every wound. I have not ignored them, but I have not allowed them to define you. I have used what seemed like the end to shape you, to mold you, to soften a heart you thought had turned to stone through disappointment, so that when this moment came, you would be soft enough to receive grace, wise enough to know you do not have to understand everything, and broken enough for me to piece you back together into the image I first created you to be. Perhaps you have blamed me, wondered why I did not intervene sooner. If I truly loved you, why I let things become as they did. But child, true love does not always prevent pain. Some pain is necessary to save your soul from spiritual death. I do not want you merely safe, I want you alive. Not just breathing, not just existing, but living with a soul that knows where it came from and where it is going. And if now you hear my voice not in your ears, but deep within, then you are ready. Ready not because you are good enough, but because you are empty enough for me to fill. You have gone far enough to know that no road is worth walking except the one that leads to me. You have tried enough to know that everything without me runs dry. And you have hurt deeply enough to yearn for a love that never changes, never conditions, a love found only in me. So I ask you not to pressure, but to open the door. Are you willing, not willing to do something for me, but willing to let me remake you? Are you willing to release all that you cannot keep to receive what no one can take away from you? This is not a transaction, it is a homecoming. You are not abandoning yourself, you are reclaiming yourself. You are not losing your story, it is about to be rewritten with the best chapter yet. There are things you have never dared to speak about, your mistakes, the shadows in your soul, your anger toward me. But I already know, and I am not afraid of it. I am not shocked, not surprised. On the contrary, I have waited so long for you to trust me enough to step out of that shell, to stand bare and still be loved. Because that is true love, not loving the perfect version, but loving the broken one. Loving not because, but loving despite. And when you come forward, my hand is still waiting. On the table are bread and wine, symbols of the body I gave and the blood I shed. A feast no one deserves, but anyone who accepts is welcome. There you will no longer be judged by your past, no longer bound by expectations, no longer weary from playing a role. There you will be called by your true name, beloved, not foster child, not stranger, but the one I have waited for, cherished and redeemed with my very life. Do not worry about what you have left undone. Do not fear what remains unfinished. Your part is to return. My part is to complete. I do not need you to reach the destination. I only need you to turn around. And for every step you take toward me, I will run 10 toward you. I am not a distant God sitting on a high throne, but a Father willing to be covered in the dust of the road just to embrace you home. Today, this very hour, may be the last time I speak to you in silence. After this, it may be a knock at the door. It may be the final breeze. It may be the blinding light before the night falls. But if at that moment your heart belongs to me, then you need not fear. You need not panic. You need not regret, for you will be taken home not as one seized away, but as one brought into the place they have always belonged. And then you will see every tear will be wiped away. Every question will be dissolved. Not because the answers have arrived, but because my presence itself is the answer. Every wound will no longer ache, not because it is forgotten, but because it is healed. In my arms, you will find what your soul has longed for all your life, without knowing its name, unshakable peace. Come, my child, step into what I have prepared for you since the dawn of creation. This is not departure, but return, not an ending, but the true beginning, where there are no more tears, no more regrets, no more empty places in the soul that earthly things could never fill. Come and open your eyes again, not with the weary, fading eyes of flesh, but with the eyes of the soul, where the light I lit from the beginning still burns within you. Come and see the face of the one who loves you, not for what you can do, but for who you are. There were years when you lived in silence as though no one understood you. Days when you looked in the mirror and no longer knew who you were. You forced yourself to be strong, to smile, to appear fine, but inside, part of your heart was cracking piece by piece. You thought no one saw, but I saw. I was always there, and every time you swallowed tears no one knew about. In every moment you sat quietly alone, fists clenched while your heart wanted to let go. And today, as time reaches its final threshold, as all noise ceases, and the world holds nothing more to cling to, I come, not in thunder, not in fire, not in a violent wind. I come in the gentleness of a call. Come home, home to the Father, home to your true identity. Home to the place where you do not have to play a role, do not have to strain, do not have to try to be someone else, just be you. You have lived a life worth cherishing, even if you do not realize it. Even if you look back and see only what you have not achieved. But I look at you differently. I see the times you forgave while your heart was still bleeding. I see the times you helped others while you yourself were collapsing. I see the times you prayed when no one knew, the whispers you spoke to me in the dark, the small but sincere efforts no one acknowledged. You think what I want is perfection, but no, my child. What I have always wanted is honesty, and you have lived that way. Yes, you have been afraid. You have been angry. You have rebelled. You have wanted to give up, but you did not turn your back. You still returned. You still sought me, even if only as a whisper in your heart. Lord, are you still there? And I have heard, always heard. I have seen you walk through pain no one else could understand. The losses, the separations, the times you stood among ruins yet chose to rebuild. That is true courage. That is the kind of faithfulness that draws no applause, no recognition, but I remember every moment. You did not run away from life, though it was not easy. You did not turn your back on the light even when darkness covered the whole sky, and to me that is victory. Now when your feet grow weary, when your breath slows, when the world becomes strangely quiet, listen to my voice. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Dawn has come, my child, and I am standing at the threshold, not with eyes of judgment, but with arms open wide. I will wipe away every tear that has ever fallen on your cheeks, even the ones you never let anyone see. I will lift you up, holding your soul as a father holds his child who has returned after a long, dusty, battered journey. I will not ask why you strayed nor demand explanations, because the most important thing has already happened. You have come home, and believe this all along your path, though you did not see I was with you. In every racing heartbeat, I was the life flowing within. In every hidden tear, I was the quiet presence. In every weary morning, I was the warmth breaking through the clouds. In every sleepless night, I was the silence that did not leave. When you thought I had turned away, I was holding you from behind, with a love not loud but steadfast as rock. It is not that I have never let you hurt. It is that I was softening your heart so it would be deep enough, wide enough, alive enough to understand what true love is. You are not saved by what you do, but by what I have done. On that cross, when my only son stretched out his arms, that is where I wrote your name into eternity. No one can erase it. Nothing can change it. And today, as the door stands open, no one can shut it. Step in without hesitation. Do not bring the old baggage, shame, torment, gray memories. Leave them all behind. You do not need them here. You do not need to justify yourself. You do not need a reason. You only need to be yourself, not the image the world has imposed, not the shadow of someone else, but the child loved perfectly. The place you are about to enter has no darkness, no voice belittling you, no cold silence. There only the radiance of eternal dawn. There only laughter unbroken by pain. There only the song your soul has longed for all your life. And there I am, the light that never fades. And do you know this? I am proud of you, not because you succeeded, not because you became famous, not because you excelled above others. I am proud because you did not give up, because even with so many questions in your heart, you kept your faith, even if it was only a flickering ember. And that is all I need, an ember to breathe into an eternal flame. Now come, meet the one you have always been seeking. Place your hand into the nail marks like Thomas to know that I am real. Breathe in the freedom with no more fear. Drink deeply from the river of life that never runs dry. And rest, truly rest in the love with no conditions, no anxiety, no more running away. Not a single heartbeat of yours has ever escaped my notice. You have never been alone. You are not merely the dust from which your body was formed. You are the breath I breathed into the void, the spark from my very being, radiant and holy. You carry within you the same creative fire that shaped the galaxies and painted the starry sky. And though the world may try to diminish your worth, to place conditions upon you, to measure you by corrupted standards, I have never wavered. You are perfect in my eyes, not because you have never been worn down, but because every step you take, even the stumbling ones, is part of the path I have woven for you. Do not be afraid. Fear is only the shadow born of forgetting, forgoing who you are, forgetting to whom you belong. But now I say to you, remember the truth that has been singing deep within your soul since before the first dawn broke over the waters. You were created in love. You were created to love. You were never meant to carry the chains of shame or guilt, for I did not create you to be crushed beneath the weight of the world's misconceptions. I created you so you could rise again and again, fall into my arms, and know that they are not a place of judgment, but a place of return. My beloved, I hear the voice of your heart, even when your lips utter no words. Those nights you lie there, eyes fixed on the ceiling in silence, with no prayer, no tears, only an empty heart that feels as if there is nothing left to say. These are not moments of surrender and defeat. To me, they are prayer deep, raw, formless, wordless, just your soul and my heart meeting in stillness. I understand that language, the language only a father can comprehend. In the darkness, in the weary quiet, I still draw near. I do not wait for you to speak. I do not require you to explain. I only need to know that you are still turning toward me, even if with weary steps, even if with faith as fragile as a single strand of hair. You have wondered, wrestled, wept, and none of this has driven me from you. On the contrary, in those very moments you have stepped closer to me than ever before. This is not the mark of a weak faith, but the sacred struggle of a soul thirsting for truth, of a child fighting to break through the shadows into the light. I have never been displeased by your doubt. I do not turn away from your aching questions. I am not ashamed that you cannot fully grasp my ways. Instead, I admire your courage, the courage to ask, to challenge, to keep seeking, even when the answer has not yet come. You ask because you still thirst, and those who thirst will be filled. You seek because you have not let go, and those who seek will find. I do not hide myself from such souls. There are days when you feel so small, unseen, forgotten. You keep doing what is right, living with kindness, smiling and giving love, yet deep inside is a nameless loneliness. There are moments you feel invisible, unseen, unknown, unacknowledged. But I see you. All of heaven has watched you, not with pity, but with holy admiration. I have seen you keep walking quietly, weary, but unturned. I have seen you choose kindness when you yourself were breaking. I have seen you give up your own comfort to protect the peace of another. These things, the ones no one applauds, I have gathered like the morning dew upon the grass, each drop precious, glistening, holy. They are an offering more pleasing to me than tens of thousands of sacrifices upon an altar. I know that sometimes you blame yourself. You think you are weak. You think your faith is not enough. You feel ashamed that you cannot pray with the fervor of others, that you cannot trust as wholly as you wish. But my child, I do not need perfect faith. I do not demand an always strong heart. I only ask for you to be real. Real in your weariness, real in your questions, real in your pain. If you keep even a tiny ember just small enough, I will breathe on it until it flames. If all you can say is, I still want to believe though I am weak, that is a faith stronger than the hollow cries of empty praise. Do not be afraid of feeling empty, for it is in that emptiness that I can fill you with myself. My love, the prayers you think have gone unanswered are in fact still being kept. The things you have asked for but have not yet seen fulfilled have not been forgotten. I gather them like incense before my throne, every sigh, every breath, every whispered plea through tears. Father, please do not forget me. I do not merely remember, I guard them. And at the time I have appointed, not early, not late, they will pour into your life like gentle rain upon parched ground. Some prayers will not be answered in the way you expect, but they will always be answered in the way that makes your soul truly live deeper, stronger, fuller. One day you will understand. Every twist in the road, every loss, every door slammed shut, every unfinished dream, they were never signs that I had rejected you. They were each a brushstroke in the masterpiece. I am painting a picture larger, more beautiful, and more radiant than you can yet imagine. When you step into eternity where no veil remains, you will look back and smile, for everything that once broke you will have become the foundation of your everlasting strength. The things that once shattered you will have become the redeemed story one heaven will celebrate because you did not give up. And then you will know peace in its purest form, not a fleeting feeling, but an eternal reality. A peace that overflows unshakable. A peace unmoved by people, by memories, or by the mistakes of the past. You will be fully known and no longer ashamed. You will understand what you never could on earth, the reasons that once escaped your grasp, the moments that once crushed you, the prayers that seemed unanswered. All will be made clear in my light. Everything will be as plain as the dawn after a long night, and you will exhale at last in the true rest you have long sought. So, my beloved, rest in this truth: I am holding you. I have always been holding you. From the beginning until this very moment, you have never slipped from my hand. The times you thought you were falling were the times I was beneath you, keeping you from the rocks. The times you thought you were alone were the times I was whispering, I am here, your Father is here. There has never been a moment you have wandered outside my gaze. There has never been a night I did not stand beside your bed. And now if I call you, it is not because your time has run out, but because your journey has reached its fullness. You will not cross that veil alone. I will be there, not a distant light waiting, but a hand clasping yours. The passage from this world into the eternal will not be cold, lonely, or dark as you fear. It will be radiant as the sunrise, gentle as a mother's voice calling you home. It will be full of light, brimming with love, complete in glory. The angels will rejoice. Heaven will throw wide its gates. Your name will be called, and every creature in eternity will know a child has come home. Not forgotten, not cast aside, but awaited, longed for. And when you arrive, you will see the faces of those you love, those who went before you, those you thought you would never see again. They will welcome you in their renewed beauty and their radiant light. There will be laughter without end. There will be beauty so overwhelming it floods every sense. No pain will be allowed to cross those gates. No tears, no burdens, no questions. Only wholeness, only love without limit. Only me, the one who has carried you through every season and now brings you into life that will never end. You have fought the good fight. You have kept the faith. And now the crown of life awaits you, not because you were perfect, but because you did not give up, because you chose to love, to believe, to keep walking even when it was not easy. Do not let regret consume you, my child. Do not let the faded memories of the past bind you to a place I never meant you to dwell forever. I have seen your silent tears, the pain you could not speak aloud. And I was there not just as a witness, but as the one who bore it for you. I carried it on my shoulders, on the cross, so that today you would not have to be crushed beneath its weight. What you call failure, I call a beginning. What you think is the end, I call a doorway. How many times you thought you had lost what was most precious, not knowing that I am the one who can breathe life into what seems dead. There is no depth my grace cannot reach, no distance I will not cross to find you, no night so long that I cannot bring the light. You look at yourself and see rags, but I see a robe being sewn stitch by stitch with repentance. You think yourself weak, but in that weakness I see a strength you never knew. You fear you are an unfinished story. But no, my child, I am the author, and I never place a period in the middle of a sentence. I see the way you are silent in a crowd, the way you smile, but your eyes do not, the way you sit in the light while your heart feels darkened, and I do not judge. I see a child lost yearning for what no one else can give the assurance that they matter, and that, my child, you will only find in me where your identity is not drawn from achievements but from the blood I shed. You do not need to fight for love. It has been yours from the moment I called you by name. And my child, what you think is lost is only being kept. I have never let a single tear of yours fall in vain. Every collapse in faith, every whisper in the dark, every right choice no one else saw, I have gathered them all into my heart. These things I will use. Like seeds buried deep, hidden, unknown, but they will rise in the appointed season. While you wait in weariness, I am still at work. While you think all is still, I am preparing something eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and hearts have not imagined. You are not alone. In realms your feet have never walked, your soul has already been carried by me. Your laughter, even if only a longing for it now, has already echoed in eternity where I have prepared a place for you. And the day will come when you step into that place not as the weary wanderer, but as the heir walking with a crown upon your head and light in your eyes. But to get there, you must choose. You must let go. You must return. Do not let the fleeting things hold you for even one more moment. Fame will fade. Money will vanish. Those who praise you today may turn away tomorrow. But I, your Father, remain the one who never changes. I do not demand that you become holy all at once. I only ask you to say, I am willing to believe again. I am willing to love again. I am willing to begin again with you. And that is what I have been waiting for your whole life. You were not born to pass through this life like a stray wind. You were made to be light in the darkness, a song in the midst of decay, a witness to a love that never withdraws its promise. You were not created for mediocrity. You were born to carry the breath of heaven in every step. But to live this way, you need one thing to return. Are you afraid? Perhaps, but fear is not the end. Fear is only proof that you stand before something greater than yourself, and that is when I take your hand. I have never asked you to walk alone. Every step you take, if you allow me to lead, will become a journey back to yourself, back to the original intention I had for you. And in that journey, no moment is meaningless. No path is wasted, for I always go before you. Remember this, I will never bring you to a place where my grace cannot keep you, and I will not let your hand fall if you will only extend it to me. Surrender in the world means defeat, but surrender in me is the beginning of victory. When you let go of what you cannot keep, that is when I place into your hands what no one can take away. Can you imagine it? a world where you no longer have to pretend to be strong, where you can be yourself, without fear of being abandoned, without dread of ridicule, without measuring your worth through the eyes of others. That is where I long to take you. That is the table already set, not for a stranger but for family where you have had a place since before you were born. Every question in your heart, I know them all, and I will not answer each one with logic. I will answer them with my very presence. When I hold you, every why will dissolve like mist in the sunlight. When you know you are loved without condition, every burden will quietly slip away, not because you forget, but because you no longer need to hold on. I have never taken my eyes off you. No matter how far you have gone, no matter how hard you tried to erase my name from your heart, I still call you by your true name, the name only you and I know, the name the world cannot touch, the name engraved upon my heart. So, my beloved, if that moment is drawing near, if I am coming to take you home, will you be willing? Will you dare to believe once more, but this time more fully, more deeply, more completely than ever before? Will you let go of what is, fading to embrace what can never be broken? Will you stop running, stop hiding, stop resisting, until only one thing remains to be in me? For you were made for this moment. Your whole life, every wandering, every detour, every broken road has led you here, not to an ending but to the most beautiful conclusion any story could have. I do not rush you. I do not force you. I welcome you with a love that is immeasurable, without judgment, without condition. And if you will let me, I will not merely rewrite your story. I will continue it in my own blood, in grace, in peace, and in joy the world cannot understand. You will not lose yourself. You will find yourself in me. Every question of yours will be answered, not in words, but in me. And then every pain in your heart will grow silent, not because it is forgotten, but because at last it is healed. You have been faithful in the small things, and to me that holds infinite worth. When no one was watching, you still kept a pure heart. When there was no reward, you still chose what was right. You did not need a platform to speak of love, for your quiet life has already been a sermon. You have loved even when it was not returned. You forgave when others kept on wounding. You bowed low when you could have stood tall, chose gentleness over winning, chose hope over bitterness. And to me, these are the true treasures of heaven, not money, not power, not fame, but love, the kind that is not loud, not showy yet, endures like light streaming through a crack into a darkened room. I have seen how you live. It does not matter if no one else sees, I see. I have watched you walk through seasons of drought without complaint or bitterness. I have seen you embrace others while you yourself were breaking. I have seen the nights you sat alone in a silent room with only sighs and tears. You thought no one knew, no one understood. But I understand. I did not just know. I was there closer than you imagined. And in each moment, I missed nothing. I kept it all, not to count against you, but to redeem. I know the scars you carry both in body and in heart, the ones others cannot see. I see them. I know the stories behind them, broken promises, fractured relationships, sudden losses, dreams unfulfilled, disappointments you swallowed whole. I have never seen them as burdens for you to bear alone. Rather, I have kept them as markers on the map of your soul's growth, as folds in the eternal chart showing how far you have come, what you have overcome, and how you still stand. You are not diminished by what you have endured. The world teaches that wounds make you weaker, but I tell you the opposite. They make you more radiant. Not radiant like a spotlight on a stage, but radiant with the kind of light that can only come from the depths. The light of a soul that has endured, has not given up, has chosen to keep believing in the good, even when the night is long. This is the light that not only shines despite the darkness, but pierces through it. And that light, nothing can extinguish. Have you noticed that the brightest flowers often grow from soil that has been torn and turned over? So it is with your soul. Though touched by sorrow, it becomes fertile ground for love, mercy, and wisdom to grow. I have used all you have endured. not to make you bitter, but to make you a place where others can find comfort, shelter, and a small guiding light to lead them to me. Nothing in your life is wasted. Not a single tear has been lost. I gather them in my hands like precious oil, treasured and remembered. When you were broken, you thought you had lost. But in my kingdom, brokenness is not defeat. It is the condition for being filled. Only when a vessel is cracked can the light shine through, and it is that light that has saved others. Many have been strengthened by your smile, by your quiet persistence, by your refusal to let go of faith when you had every reason to. Now, as the final moment draws near, you can look back and breathe in peace. Not because everything was perfect, but because I have walked with you through it all. You have never walked alone. In every hard decision, in every tear-filled waiting, in every morning you did not want to rise, in every prayer you were unsure you could speak, I was there. Not as one watching from afar, but as your silent companion, holding your hand, lifting you up, carrying you through stretches of road where you had no strength left. Let what you have endured stand as a testimony of victory, not defeat. Let every moment you chose the right thing, even in secret, become a precious gem upon the crown you will wear. You are one remembered in heaven, not because of what you did to shake the world, but because you refused to let this world shake your faith. You are one the darkness fears, not because you shouted loudly, but because you are the quiet flame that never goes out. And now I, the one who has watched you through it all, open my arms again and say, my child, it is enough. Come and rest. No more striving, no more proving, no more wondering, am I worthy? For I have declared your worth with the blood of my only Son. The life you are entering is not a reward for merit, but the result of a relationship you refuse to abandon. And that is the most precious thing. So lift up your head, step forward with your whole heart. Everything you have endured, I have seen, I have redeemed, and I have turned into glory. Nothing is forgotten. No one can erase your name from the palm of my hand, and nothing can separate you from my love. Neither life, nor death, nor any power in heaven or on earth. Come, my beloved, glory awaits. The kingdom is ready. All you have suffered will now be exchanged for a joy that will never fade. And in that stillness I will hold you, quietly, deeply, without words. Only love, dense, pure, unconditional, without limit, without end. You have not been lost. You are coming home. Home to where you have always belonged. And I, your father, am ready to throw open the door, to see you run in like a child rushing home after a long day's wandering. Welcome home. My beloved, do not be afraid when the time comes to let go of this world. Do not tremble as though falling into an abyss. Letting go is not loss, it is return. It is not disappearance, but transformation, like the seed breaking open to send forth the sprout. You will not fade. On the contrary, you will step into light, where the truth of who you are is fully revealed, where what has always belonged to you from the beginning now shines without covering. This is not the end. This is the first dawn of true life. The limits of this body, its weakness, sickness, and lifelong burdens, will vanish like morning mist in the sun, but your soul will not. That soul breathed into being from my own breath will rise. No longer bound by time, by gravity, or by the pain that once marked your memory. Your soul will shine like the sunrise after the longest night, radiant, pure, and free. You will not be swallowed by the unknown. You will not enter a void. You will be embraced by me, the one who formed you, who saw you before the foundations of the world. And there in my arms, you will remember your whole self, not the weary, wounded, or lacking version, but the you I have always seen from eternity. Everything I placed within you, kindness, dreams, gifts, beauty, strength, the things you sometimes forgot, sometimes missed, sometimes lost, will return to their place. The fragments of your being that seem to have fallen away with each wound will be gathered, mended, and set right. You will find yourself whole, not merely healed but restored, not merely alive but fully alive. In that place, I will not only let you see yourself, but also those you thought were lost forever. You will recognize them, not as shadows in memory, but as living, vibrant, whole souls. They have not vanished. They simply went ahead of you, And now as you arrive, they will come to greet you. No more tears, no more partings. The embraces once interrupted will continue. The words left unspoken will be voiced in the light. The faces you once dreamed of in sleep will now be clearer than ever, no longer fading, no longer sorrowful, only radiant in unbreakable reunion. Do not be afraid. Here there is no regret, no if only. No had I known. Here time bears no trace of grief. Every moment lived in me is eternal, complete, free from hurry or fear. No one is left behind, no one is forgotten. Here every act of love is preserved, everything lost is redeemed. You once thought my presence was distant, elusive, an idea you had to grasp with strong faith. But when you step into eternity, you will no longer need to believe, you will see. No more vague impressions, no more prayers whispered in doubt, but a direct, overwhelming, tender encounter. The love you tasted only in part on earth will flood you so fully, you will think you will dissolve into it. But no, you will not dissolve, you will be lifted up. You will not disappear into that light. You will become more luminous than ever. You will be immersed in life, not life measured by years, but life of a heavenly nature, a ceaseless, pure, joy-filled current. No more illness, no more burdens, no more shadows hiding in the mind. In that place you will see how every pain you endured took on meaning, not because it was right, but because it was used to bring forth something better. The scars, the wounds, the failures you once hid, all will shine like jewels. They are the marks of a journey redeemed. Do not fear, my beloved, for when you let go, that is when I hold tighter. When you leave this fragile body, that is when your soul truly returns to where it belongs. No more barrier between you and me. No more dust dimming the light. I will call your name, not in an echo from afar, but as a whisper in your heart. And when you hear it, you will know you are home. In that place, love needs no guarding, no protection. It is not fragile, not woundable. It needs no proof. It simply is, like light, like life, like your first breath in eternity. And that love will wrap around you, a love no longer bound by flesh, by time, or by fear. That love is me. Remember, you are not stepping into darkness. You are stepping into a light that has never faded. You are not leaving, you are drawing nearer. It is not surrender, it is reclaiming. It is not an ending, it is a homecoming. All of heaven is waiting. I am waiting. Your room has been prepared. Your white garment is ready. The feast is set for the one who returns. And when you enter, your name will resound. None will call it wrong. You will be known not by what you have done, but by who you are, my child, the bearer of my image, the one I love with an unchanging love. So do not fear, breathe out gently, step forward in peace. For beyond the letting go lies glory. The time you have spent loving has never been in vain. The moments you thought went unseen, I have seen. The quiet sacrifices, the smiles in the midst of hurt, the forgiveness given when you had every reason to hold a grudge, none of it passed away like some nameless wind. They have not vanished, have not been forgotten, have not sunk into nothingness. I have gathered them all, each breath, each step, to weave into a radiant tapestry, and that tapestry now glimmers in eternity. The words you have spoken in truth, even if only whispers, a word of encouragement, a prayer for someone who never knew, are recorded, not in cold ledgers but inscribed upon my heart. Everything sincere you have sown in this life, no matter how small, has left an echo in my kingdom, where time does not dim and holiness never fades. You need not do grand things to be of worth, for the love you have lived out is the true miracle. The embraces you gave, the apologies you dared to speak, the times you offered the best portion to another, the moments you placed a hand on someone's shoulder and said, "It's okay, I'm here." These have become the very bricks that build the gate to home. Each act of love, however small, has been a ray of light piercing someone's night. And do you know, in my kingdom, light is never forgotten. At times you think you have done nothing of significance. You compare yourself to others, to their bright achievements, to lives that seem to shine like the stars. But I do not measure you by applause. I measure you by the breadth of your heart, by the patience you show the weak, by the water you give to the thirsty, the prayer you lift in secret for one who has hurt you. I measure you by the faithfulness you hold when no one notices, by the love you do not flaunt but use to serve. And I tell you this, you have done more than you realize. The healing you have brought has touched not only bodies or fleeting emotions, it has reached the depths of other souls. Some have kept living, not because they were strong enough, but because they glimpsed a little light in you. And that light, not yours but mine, has shone through you like sunlight through a simple, clear window. You have not been in vain. You have been a quiet messenger of divine love in a noisy, grasping world. You do not need to see the results for good to be real. You do not need to see the garden for the seed to have value. For when you sow in faith, when you act out of love, when you give without expecting in return, the outcome is not in your hands but in mine. And in my hands nothing is ever lost. Not a single tear, not a single word of comfort, not a single hidden sacrifice is wasted. All you have done out of love, even if you forget, I remember. Even if the world overlooks, I record. For whatever springs from true love belongs to eternity. It does not dissolve with time nor blow away with the wind. It becomes the stones of the everlasting kingdom, a foundation stronger than any throne on earth. And you are one of the builders of that kingdom. You may see only seeds. You may see barren soil, scratched hands, sweat falling on unmarked paths. But I have seen the garden. I have seen the blooms your eyes have not yet beheld, the pictures forming beneath your hands, the souls saved by a single word you spoke in love. You live in this world, yet your influence has spilled into eternity, and there nothing is ever lost. So now when your shoulders are weary, when your hands tremble, when your heart beats slower in the stillness of the final moment, I say to you, not as a judge, but as a father, rest. Not because you are abandoned, but because your work is done. Not because I need you to stop, but because I want you to step into your reward, the one prepared for those who have been faithful to the end. You have fought the good fight. You have kept the faith. And now a crown of life awaits you. Let me wipe the tears from your cheeks, the last ones. Let me hold your hand once more, not to lead you back to the painful journey, but to guide you into the house. There every burden will fall from your shoulders like an old garment. There you will no longer strain to live for others, no longer count the days to see if you have done enough. There you will be called, beloved child, welcome home. The door is still open. The feast still waits. Your name is still carved into the chair at the table. They have been waiting for you, the souls who went before, the ones you once loved, once lost, once wept for. They have been sitting there watching the horizon where the light quietly signals, you are coming. And when you step in, there will be no silence, only the shattering joy the earth could never contain. Now rest, my child. Release what you cannot hold to make room for what no one can take from you. Allow yourself to be loved, received, and fully healed, not because you deserve it, but because I have paid the price to make it so. True life does not begin when you reach the end. It begins when you know you are home, and you are there now. Lay down every effort, dear one. No more striving to prove anything. No more gasping to hold your breath as though you were drifting at sea. Let your breathing slow, not in fear of what is coming, but in the peace of a child finally home. You have finished your race, and do not believe the lie that you ran alone. I was there, every step, every mile, every fall, and every rising again. I carried you when your feet gave way, when your faith was only a fragile flicker that the winds of life could snuff out at any moment. I sang beside your bed when you fell asleep in worry. Those songs were not to lull you into forgetting reality, but to weave into your rest a quiet message, I am still here. I whispered hope into your silence. When you had no words left to pray, no tears left to fall, no strength to call my name, I still whispered, still placed hope within you, still believed you would keep turning toward the light. For that light has always been in you, even when you did not see it. And my child, I want you to know something you have often struggled to believe. I delight in you. I love your journey even in its imperfection. I love each time you chose what was right though it cost you. I love even the times you failed then turned back, heartbroken but sincere. I love your simplicity, the dreams you hid for fear of ridicule. I love every handshake you offered, every glance you gave, the hurting every silence you kept to forgive instead of defend yourself. I have seen it all. I have recorded it all, and never once through the whole journey have I been disappointed in you. You have thought I demanded perfection, that if you erred, I would retreat. But child, I have never withdrawn. My joy in you does not fade because of your stumbling. It grows through your overcoming. And now, as all things of earth recede, as the calls of duty and the noise of expectation fall silent, I prepare for you a place, not of separation or restraint, but of closeness, beyond anything you have known, where your soul may finally exhale completely. There is no darkness, no whisper of accusation, no judgment, no doors closed against you. There the light does not merely shine on you, it lives within you. You will no longer seek safety, for safety will be the very air of heaven. No fear lurking in corners, no haunting of past mistakes, no dread of losing anything. For here nothing is lost. Everything is restored. Do you remember the fragments of your life? The unfinished stories, the abruptly ended relationships, the unanswered questions, the plans left undone, in the place I have for you. All of it will be gathered like a father's hand carefully, picking up every shard of your soul and fitting them into a perfect picture. You will no longer ask, why did that happen? Why did you let that happen? For then all will be clear, not in words, but in presence. The moment you fall into my arms, everything will be understood. For what you truly need is not the answer, but the one who has walked with you through every mystery. I know there have been times you blamed yourself for not being good enough, faithful enough, strong enough, but I do not measure you by enough. I measure by faithfulness, by the smallest persistence, by the faint light you kept in the night. And if today is the final moment, if you stand at the threshold between two worlds, then know this, you are not dying, you are going home. Let go, my child. You need hold on to nothing else. The things you fear to lose, if they are truly yours, they will be returned fuller and eternal. And the things that never belong to you, I will let the wind carry them away gently like a farewell of the past. You no longer have to guard anything. I guard you. From now on, there will be no distance between us. No walls, no faults, no tears to divide us. From now on, you will know me fully as I know you. And here, where time has stopped, where space is only the breath between father and child, you will live as you were created to live. Free, unafraid, unashamed, unburdened, unpretending. You will soar like a soul that has never known limits. You will sing with a voice never strangled by pain. You will be light, light reflecting eternal love without stain, without reproach, without ceasing. And I will be there, not far, not silent, but near like the beat of your own heart, near like the air you breathe, near like the first gaze a child gives its mother, near as you have always longed for. Only now you will feel it fully, not faint, not fleeting, not only in faith, but in reality. So step in, let the light swallow the darkness. Let the last words on your lips not be, I regret, but thank you. Thank you for never leaving me. Thank you for holding me even when I could not hold myself. Thank you for being my father and for making me your child. Not just yesterday, not just today, but forever. For you belong to me. For I have never, not for a single second, stopped loving you. And child, this world was never your final home. It was only the cradle for a growing soul, the hallway of choices. You have walked it, known joy and sorrow, felt wounds and wonders, and through it all I have been there quietly teaching you to know my voice among the noise of life. But now, as the veil between the worlds grows thin, as you near the threshold beyond time, remember this. You are not about to end. You are about to begin. What awaits you is not the closing chapter, but the full unveiling. The things you once saw through a dim mirror will be clear. The questions without answers will be met with the language of light, and every tear, every single one, will be wiped away by my own hand of everlasting love. The mystery of death is not an ending but a doorway. And beyond that doorway I am waiting not as a stern judge but as a father eager to welcome his child home. In my hands there is no scale to weigh. You only love, only arms wide enough to embrace every part of you, every fear, every hope, every unfinished dream, and every longing fulfilled. Come as you are, come without fear. Come knowing that your name is known, your story is cherished, and your heart is safe. You do not come to be erased, but to be made whole. You are not leaving life, you are stepping into its fullness. You are not ceasing to exist, you are awakening. You are not lost, you are returning to the place you have always belonged. And I, your father, am ready to throw the door wide open so you may run in like a child rushing home after a long day of wandering. Let that light lead you, not the dazzling light of this world that quickly fades, but the gentle, steady, unfading light that radiates from me. It has always been there, even when the clouds hid the sky. It still flickers in your heart, even when you thought you had lost your faith. This light does more than guide your steps. It is the deepest part of you returning to your Creator. Do not delay. Do not look back. There is nothing left to prove, no battle left to fight. Just one step, and that step does not take you farther away but leads you home. Let my voice, the gentle voice your soul has always known, lead you on. You have heard it in childhood dreams, in the wind that swept across empty fields, in the unspoken longings that had no name. That voice still calls through the noise, through the countless other calls that once led you astray. It is the voice of the one who never stops reminding you, you are not forgotten, you are not an orphan, you are mine. Even when your ears can no longer hear clearly, let your heart answer, for it has always known the way home, waiting only for your permission. Let your soul rise like a river flowing back to the mother sea, like a bird reclaiming the sky. You have spent too many years doubting your own worth. There were days you thought you were only a shadow passing through the lives of others without leaving a trace. But my child, the truth is that every step you took has echoed into eternity. Every time you loved, every time you forgave, every time you chose what was right when wrong was easier, you were writing a chapter in a story that can never be erased. And here, in this moment, as you let your soul answer the call, you are returning to the place prepared for you since before time began. Let peace, true peace, not the forced stillness of the world, but the peace that surpasses all understanding, cover you like cool water on a sweltering day. Let it soak into every fiber, every cell, every memory that once bled. I know you have grown accustomed to living in tension, on guard, burdened with care, but now you no longer have to try. You do not have to hold yourself together. You do not have to worry about what is unfinished. You only need to breathe and let peace do the rest. For that is me holding you not with arguments, but with an unshakable presence. Let me carry you not with your weary legs, but with the steady arms of a father. Let me gather you into the embrace that formed every line of your body, every beat of your heart, every fleeting thought in your lifetime. And know this, even as you step through the final threshold, you are not stepping into an end, but into a deeper, wider, more beautiful dimension than you have ever known. Nothing in you will be lost, only transformed, returned to its truest essence. Every bare place in you will be clothed with glory. Every emptiness will be filled with the fullness of my presence beyond all words. Even when this body rests, your legacy will not end. You may not see all that you have left behind, but I see it. The love you lived and gave still blooms in the hearts of others. A gentle glance, a small act, a timely word of encouragement, all carry weight in eternity. They pass from one person to another like seeds carried on the wind, falling into fields you will never know by name. Someone lives better today because once you did not turn away. Someone is braver because they saw you refuse to give up. And in that way you remain. The courage you once showed in your darkest days will be a torch for those who come after. Someone is now walking the path you once endured, feeling their way in the dark, and it is your light that will guide their steps. They do not know your name, but they feel you. They recognize your footprints, for soul knows soul. This is how eternal life works, not loudly, not showily, but deeply and without end. You may leave this world, but the light you leave behind will not. The truth you chose to walk in, even when it cost you, will become a solid path for others to follow. When you lived authentically, you left a trail through the forest of lies. When you chose righteousness, you opened the way for tender hearts to know they were not foolish. And when you suffered without bitterness, endured without betraying yourself, even the most indifferent saw a glimpse of me in you. You were a mirror, not perfect but true, and in so doing you made a way. The beauty you brought into the world, found not in appearance, not in talent, but in living true to your soul, cannot be erased. Even if forgotten by others, even if memories fade, even if your name grows dim in human history, on the eternal page where I write with fire and light, your imprint remains. Everything you loved, everything you guarded, everything you did without calculation I have recorded. Nothing is wasted, nothing is meaningless. You have left your handprint on eternity. So, my child, let go of fear. Let it fall like the heavy coat you have worn too long. It is no longer needed, no longer has a place in the journey ahead. All you once worried over, all you hid, all you tried to control, so nothing would collapse. These are no longer your burdens. You are not the one who holds all things together. That is mine to do. You no longer have to be strong just to survive. Let go. For the very moment you cease resisting is the moment I begin lifting you. You will not fall. Never. Even when it feels like you are losing control, gasping in a vast unknown, you are still in my arms. I have never let you fall. Not once. Every second, every beat, every silent moment when you thought you were abandoned, I was holding you more securely than anything you ever clung to. You are not lost. You are being found slowly, gently like light, slipping from behind the clouds to reveal the first morning after a long winter. I have traced every sigh you have breathed. I have come, my child, and I am here. And soon in the blink of an eye a door will open. Not the door of an ending, but the door of a beginning. You will know the joy prepared for you before time began. Joy not as a fleeting emotion, but as a steady reality, always there, always waiting for you, quiet and certain as my heart beating for you. You will hear the melody that has been playing all along, the melody you only caught in moments when you loved without reserve, in unfinished songs in the night, in unseen tears when you prayed without words. And then you will see a face, not strange, not distant, a face you have searched for in the first light of dawn, in gentle gestures, in merciful eyes. You could never name it, but your heart recognized it. It is the face that lived in your childhood dreams. The face you have longed your whole life to see clearly. And when you see me, not through a dim mirror, not through fear, not through dreams, you will know you are home. No more doubt, no more hiding, no more if only, no more what if, only presence, only eyes meeting and all is understood. No more words are needed, for I know you, to the depths, better than you know yourself. And you will know me not just with mind or faith, but with new life flowing through every cell belonging to eternity. You will no longer ask, "Who am I?" For the answer will be, "I am the one who is loved forever." You will be known not by your past, nor by what you have done or left undone. You will be known as heaven calls you, with indescribable tenderness, with honor that melts your heart, with light that covers you, not to expose sin, but to honor what is precious in you that the world never saw. No longer a seeker of acceptance, but an heir of eternal joy. My child, sometimes in your loneliest moments you look up and ask, is there truly a place in this world for me? A place where you do not have to try to fit, where you do not have to trade the truth in your heart for acceptance. A place where you do not have to smile when your heart is weeping, nor pretend to be strong when you are breaking. A place where your presence is not a burden, not judged, not demanded from. That place is me. Your home is not a room, not a house built of stone, and certainly not the heart of those who change. You once thought home was where familiar people and warm memories and framed pictures were. But when those people changed, when memories turned to pain, when the walls grew colder than ever, you learned home is not outside. Home is in the one who never leaves you. In me you are called by your truest name, not the name you use to seem fine, nor the title you strive for to be respected. But the name I gave you before the world began, the name that holds your essence and purpose, the name only you and I know, where you have nothing left to hide, no need to stand strong for anyone. In me, you do not have to do anything to be loved for, that love has always been there, waiting for you to receive it, not demanding you to earn it. You do not have to run, you do not have to hide. You do not have to scramble for a place in someone's heart or chase a glance from the world. In me, you are seen not through performance but through loving eyes. You do not have to prove your worth, for you were never defined by success or failure. You were made by love, and that love has guaranteed your existence no matter what you do or do not do. I know you have lived in a world that made you believe you must be better, stronger, holier to be near me. But the truth is, you will never be enough, and you do not need to be. I have loved you not after you became good, but from the moment you did not even know my name. When your first breath touched the earth, when your eyes had yet to open, I was there, and I have never left. There were seasons when you thought I had forgotten you, when your prayers fell into silence, when my presence felt distant, when you blamed me, yet secretly hoped I heard you. I heard every sob in the night, every time you clenched your fist to keep from breaking down before others. Every word you never dared to speak, I heard them all, and never once did I turn away. When you refused me, I still chose to stay near. When you slipped from the path I set, I kept my eyes on you. When you fell, I did not count the times, I counted every time you wanted to rise. When you were silent and did not pray, I still listened to your heart. My love did not withdraw, it did not diminish. It did not fragment. It is unlike any love you have ever known, ever heard of, or ever experienced. You do not need to try harder to be worthy enough to return. You only need to come back, even if you are covered in dirt, even if you carry wounds. Even if you bring with you wrong choices, bad habits, and scars that have not yet healed, you do not need to fix yourself up before entering the gate. I am the very place you come to be healed. I do not wait for you to be perfect before I love. I love in order to heal what is imperfect. You once thought you had to be chosen by someone in order to feel valuable, but I chose you before you ever had the chance to choose me back. Not because you stood out, not because you were capable, but simply because I wanted to, because my heart longed for you. Not in the way the world longs to possess, but like the yearning of a father searching for his lost child. You are not lost because you are bad. You are lost because your soul remembers home. There is a place prepared for you, not outside but within my heart, a place where acceptance has no conditions, a place where you do not need to force a fake smile, a place where you can sob and still be held, a place where you are not a servant under surveillance but a beloved child deeply cherished. And do you know, when you are truly in me, tears no longer need to fall, for pain has found its meaning and your heart has found its resting place. No one can snatch you from my arms. No soul, no past, no failure, no accusation. In me, you are so safe that even hell itself must admit, this one belongs to the one whom none can take away. My child, I do not promise that life will always be calm, but I promise there will never be a moment you must walk alone again. Even when you feel unworthy, I still call your name. Even when you lose faith in yourself, I still keep that faith. Even when you wander off course, I wait at the crossroads. Even when the world turns away, I remain. I have seen the seasons when you no longer wanted to live. I have seen how you swallowed your tears, how you went to work with a weight in your chest, how you still smiled so no one would ask questions. I see it all, and I want you to know, not one drop of your tears is wasted. Every pain is kept by me. Every disappointment is understood by me. Every moment you wanted to give up, I stood there, hand outstretched, waiting for you to turn back. I have never been absent, not once, even when you felt I was far away, even when you thought you were no longer loved. My love does not depend on your feelings. It is a river, constant, powerful, unshakable, still flowing even when you turn away. And if today you stop, turn around, and open your heart, you will see I have never been far. Because I love you, I did not leave when you were wrong. Because I love you, I still spoke gently when I had every right to rebuke. Because I love you, I did not take from you what you clung to, but waited for you to open your hands. Because I love you, I did not stop every hurt, but I stopped them from destroying your soul. I love you, not as people say it casually, but as light cannot help but shine, as life cannot help but breathe, as I, myself, cannot help but love. It is not a seasonal promise, not a fleeting emotion, but the very essence of who I am. And if you know this, not just in your mind, but in your soul, you will stop running, you will stop hiding, and you will come home. My beloved child, I know you are tired. I know the past days have not been easy. I see how you drag your steps, how you wrestle with the whispers in your mind, the waves of emotion that rise as if they cannot be controlled. I see how you keep everything inside so no one notices. And I also see how you keep going. Even though your heart is fractured, your feet are wounded, your eyes no longer shine like they once did. My child, there is a truth I want you to know. Nothing, no circumstance, no sin, no failure, no temptation, no voice of judgment can separate me from you. No distance in space or time can make my love less. No depth of pain, no height of illusion, no wall you build out of shame or self-blame can make me abandon you. I chose you, and when I choose, I do not take it back. I have loved you, and that love is unconditional, unshaken, untouched by what you do or fail to do. My love is the sacred cord binding your soul to life. It does not choke you like guilt, nor bind you like heavy law. It is a soft yet unbreakable cord, like the breath of the Spirit resting upon you, drawing you close when you stray, holding you safe when you are about to fall, lifting you when you cannot stand on your own. No matter how far you run, that cord has never broken. No matter how many times you stumble, I have never untied it. You have been through so much that made you believe you are no longer worthy. The mistakes you repeated even after promising to stop. The moments you thought to yourself, Lord, surely you must be tired of me this time. The times you kept away from me because you could not bear to look into my eyes in prayer. You may hide your feelings from others, but never from me. And I say this to you, from the heart of a father whose love never grows weary, I have never changed toward you. Nothing can make me withdraw the mercy I have given you. Not your turning away, not your silent prayers, not the seasons when you forget my name. My love is not a flame that needs tending. It is an eternal fire, never extinguished, not dependent on wind or oil. It is my nature, and if I am the one who never changes, then neither does my love. You have fought long enough. You have carried long enough. You have endured long enough. You have strained long enough. And I know there were moments you thought, if I do not try just a bit more, everything will fall apart. But my child, faith is not striving, it is surrender. And the surrender I am inviting you into now is not a guilty resignation, but a yielding into my arms, where you need do nothing more to be accepted. It is time for you to stop, not because you have failed, but because you have finished. Not because you are giving up, but because you have arrived at the place where you understand that I am where you belong. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to strain to be worthy. You do not need to do something grand to remain in my family. You have belonged since before you even knew what belonging meant. Rest, my child, not as in ceasing to move, but entering the peace I have prepared. A place where silence no longer makes you anxious. A place where no one leaves, no one betrays, no one loves you for a reason. A place where love is not purchased with diligence or holiness. A place where you can breathe without feeling useless. Where you can exist without comparison. Where you can hurt without being judged. Where you can be weak and still be called my beloved. Rest does not mean you will do nothing. It means you will act from being loved, not to be loved. You will walk from being accepted, not to seek acceptance. You will act from safety, not from fear. That is rest, a posture of peace in the midst of a still chaotic life. My child, I know there are voices in you still saying, it cannot be that simple. You must do something to prove you have changed. You must try harder to be truly forgiven. But I tell you, everything that needed to be done has already been done by me. I have walked up to the cross. I have borne all sin. I have paid every price you could never pay. And when I said it is finished, that included you. Nothing else is needed, no bullet points, no one more good season. You no longer need to be worthy, for your worth is not in you, it is in me. When you enter my love, you enter into a worthiness that is not your own, but given by the one who lived a perfect life and died in your place. And now you live in the light of that truth, no longer a debtor but an heir, no longer a wanderer but a child called home. And all that remains is to remain. No need to do more spiritual things. No need to chase this experience, that miracle. Only remain in the unchanging love, in the unending kindness, in the gentle gaze that never turns away. Remain, whether in burning passion or in days gone cold. Remain when you feel strong or hopelessly weak. Remain in all things because I am your rest. I know your journey is not yet over. There are still things to do, people to love, steps to take. But today I invite you to begin again from a place of rest, so that all you do will not come from a sense of lack, but from fullness. So that what you give comes because you have already received, not because you are trying to be filled. My dear one, rest is a form of worship. It is the voice of a soul that believes God is enough. That believes you do not need to do more to remain held. That believes my love does not shift with your actions. That believes grace has no conditions. Rest now. Remove the armor you still wear, though the battle is over. Take off the mask of strength you have held tight so no one sees your fear. Come home, lie down in my embrace. No more worrying about whether you are worthy today. No more trembling when you make a mistake. No more wondering if I still love you. I have never stopped, and I never will. So, my child, stay. Stay in the love that found you before you knew how to seek. Stay in the arms that will never let go. Stay, not because you are good, but because I do not change. Stay, because in the end what you need is not a solution, not a miracle, not proof. You only need me. Beloved, now, be still. Do not struggle anymore. Do not resist anymore. Do not hold on to what no longer belongs to you. Let me carry you like a father gently bending down to lift his little one after a long road. No one is blaming you. No one is demanding from you. There is no more race to run, no more burden to bear. Only me. And you. In a moment without time, without fear, without tears. Only peace like an ocean covering your soul. Your breath I see. Your trembling heartbeat I feel. Every spasm in your chest as you hold back tears I know. I know it all, and I hold it all. No explanations needed, no words required. You do not need to be accomplished to be loved by me. You do not need to understand everything to be held in my arms. My love does not come after you finish the journey. It has been there from the starting point, and because of that love I have always walked with you even when you did not see. Lie still in my arms like a child who has nothing to prove. You do not need to appear strong. You do not need to look steady. You do not need to keep an image. You can gasp for breath. You can burst into tears. You can say nothing at all. And I am still there, still holding you, still keeping you in an unrelenting love. I do not seek the children who never cry. I seek the lost, the wounded, the misunderstood, the abandoned, and I have found you. You have walked through seasons where you yourself could not understand how you were still standing. There were sleepless nights when you stared at the ceiling and prayed quietly, unsure if anyone was listening. There were mornings when you woke without desire for anything yet still washed your face and carried on. There were relationships that broke dreams, that shattered promises you once believed collapsing. But you lived. And that was not because you were strong. It was because I held you. With a strength you will only realize now as you come here, lie here. Breathe slowly now. Let the tension melt away with each breath. Let the burdens on your shoulders be lifted one by one. You do not need to carry them anymore. You do not need to hold what is not yours. The accusations, the old failures, the unfinished dreams, the wrong decisions, the lingering fears. Give them all to me. Do not hold them back. I do not merely patch you up. I do something deeper. I transform you. I do not come to fix you. I do not come to make you as you once were. I come to make you into what I have always seen in you, from the beginning. A great soul carrying life, an instrument of light, a child unbound by fear or death, a witness to resurrection, a living song written through sorrow yet sung in victory. You are no longer limited, no longer imprisoned, no longer ruled by shame or imperfection. You are free. Free not because you did something to deserve pardon, but because I have paid it all. Every sin broken, every curse erased, every prejudice removed, every wound sanctified. I bore it all on the cruel wood so that today you can lie down and breathe in safety. No one can take this from you. No one can say you are unworthy. I have said, you are mine, and what belongs to me cannot be taken. And now as everything in you grows still, let your true self rise. Not the fearful self, not the mask or the name others gave you, but you, as I created you, full of eternal life, a soul whose name is etched on my heart. A child not defined by the past, not limited by the present, not threatened by the future. A child living in a kingdom unmoved by the storms of this world. Rest, my child. Not because you are exhausted, but because you have completed what I wanted you to complete. Not to stop, but to be brought into a space where no one can harm you. Into a place without tears, without regret, without comparison. Into a reality without conditions, without compromise, without separation. Only uninterrupted peace, an enduring presence, a love wrapping around you like a holy atmosphere. Your story, I have already finished writing. No missing parts, no forgotten lines. Every tear you shed I recorded, every wound you carried I noted, every small act of love you gave I preserved, every whispered prayer I did not miss. And today, that story is proclaimed in heaven, like a song of victory, not because it had no pain, but because in the midst of pain you did not give up faith, you did not give up hope, you did not give up on me, and so all of heaven sings. Because a child has walked the whole journey. Though fallen, still rose. Though weak, still held on. Though hurt, still chose to love. Though not understanding, all still kept walking. And that song, unlike any ever written, carries the echoes of blood and tears of silent worship of embraces without response of desperate glances toward heaven. It resounds like slow thunder at dawn. Victory belongs to the love that never abandons. And then, in the kingdom without darkness, among thousands of angels in the fullness of glory, one sound rises above all, not loud, not overwhelming, but clear, warm, familiar. A voice your soul has heard since before you were formed in your mother's womb. That voice calls out, cutting through space, surpassing every limit, touching the deepest part of your soul. Welcome home. Now lift up to me your prayer with all your heart. Almighty God, who searches the depths of my soul today, I come before you not with eloquent words, but with a bare and unguarded heart. I have passed through many seasons of darkness, have stood in barren deserts, and amidst the storms of the human heart. There were times I thought you were silent, times I believed I had been abandoned. Yet now, as your light shines into my heart, I know you have always been there. In every breath I take, in every moment I was on the verge of collapse. You were the one who held me up. I ask you to teach me to rest in your presence, not because I deserve it, but because you are merciful. Heal every broken piece within me, those things I have buried deep and thought no one could understand. Grant me the courage to let go, that I may walk lightly into the fullness of joy. Let me know I am loved, not because of what I do, but because I am your child. And if this journey is soon to end, let me depart in peace beneath the tender gaze of the one who loved me before I knew how to love in return. Merciful Father, I come to you with empty hands, bringing no achievements, no honor, no defense. I come as a child returning home with feet bruised and bleeding and a heart cracked in many places. I do not want to hide anymore. I want to offer you everything, the good and the flawed parts of me alike. Please hold me, even when I am unworthy. Quiet every fear in my heart and teach me to trust in your unchanging mercy. In these final days, help me to live truthfully without pretending, without masks, without fleeing from myself. I want to find you not only in worship, but in every ordinary breath. Lord, tell me once more that I still belong to you. so that I can rest and live all my days as a child who no longer doubts the Father's love. Creator of all things, you saw me before I was formed and knew every day I would live. Every wound, every choice, every time I chose to rise again, after falling, all of it has been within your sight. Today I offer you my weary heart, my soul that has weathered many storms, and my eyes still longing to see the true light. Please come like dew upon the dry meadow, like cool water in a scorched land. Renew the parts of me that have withered. Let me know, amid all that remains unfinished, that I am already enough because you chose to love me from the very beginning. Wash away every deceiving voice in my mind and replace them with the truth from your own mouth, that I am precious, that I am known, that I am never lost in your eyes. Living God, I thank you for everything, the good and the bad. I thank you for the sunshine and for the rain. I thank you for the days of joy and for the sleepless nights. All of it has shaped who I am today. Nothing has been wasted. No experience has been in vain. I thank you that your love does not withdraw when I am weak, that your grace does not cease when I fail, that your kindness does not change when I doubt. I cannot express my gratitude fully, but today I return all things to you as a living offering of thanks. Father, source of life and everlasting love, today I come not only to ask but to thank you with all that I have. I thank you for your quiet presence, not flashy, not boastful, but steady, like a river wearing down stone in silence. I know there were days I did not call your name yet. You called mine within the Father's heart. There were mornings I forgot to pray, yet you did not forget to wake me with sunlight through my small window. There were afternoons I bowed my head thinking I was alone, when in truth, you were holding my heart together. I thank you that you do not love me based on performance, on feelings, or on results, but you love me as something that cannot be otherwise. Thank you that you did not wait for me to be better before loving me, but that it is precisely your love that has healed me. Thank you that your patience is greater than my inconsistency, that your grace is enough for me to rise each day, and for the promise I will never leave you, nor forsake you. I live today because of those words. Eternal refuge today. If the last word I can utter is thank you, then I will speak it with all my soul. I thank you for this journey, not easy but beautiful, not smooth but true, not perfect but enough to know you have walked with me the whole way. Thank you for holding on to me when I could not hold on to myself, for believing I still had worth when the world discarded me, for seeing light in me when I could only see darkness. I thank you for every tear, for now I understand they are jewels you have kept. I thank you for the silence, for now I know it was when you were working quietly within me. And I thank you that now, as I am about to step into another world, I do not go alone. Your love is the only thing I carry and the only thing I need. No more questions, no more doubts, only gratitude, deep, complete, forever. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.